Blair Man here with the news. Oh, it was a rough week last week. I didn't really record much. I did do the Sunday episode though, so check that out if you're into sports. I was gonna do an entertainment one today, but the more stuff that was trending, it was just I was working on an article last week, and I didn't think I was gonna get to it, and I thought, well, maybe I just shouldn't do it at all. But the more and more research I did, I saw the story falling into place, and I was like, all right, well, let's just roll with it, and then just see how it goes. And I'm hoping I'll do an entertainment episode for tomorrow. That way, people can just chill on Thanksgiving with their family and just, have something fun and entertaining. But this is going to be a more serious episode, but we'll start with some entertainment. This was trending, obviously, Melissa Barrera. I'm sorry, I'm bad with reading and names stuff. If you like the Scream movies, she's in Scream. I think I saw the new one with her. I remember her doing a good job. But let's read this. It says, Melissa Barrera dropped from Scream 7 after pro-Palestinian posts. I guess this is a quote. It says, and just like our histories, people are still silently watching it all happen. Oh yeah, this was definitely what she called it a Jenny, an ethnic cleaning. Yeah, you can't really say stuff like that unless you have like hard factual evidence promoting that. Obviously, she's very close to the situation. She's obviously Palestinian, and that's her right to say that. Even if it might not be true. She's allowed to say stuff like that. That's her opinion. A good thing it's not a fact, because that would be terrible if that's what was really going on. But she's allowed to say opinions like that. Says actor, I love how they call her actor anyway. Actress Melissa Barrera is no longer appearing in the upcoming horror franchise film Scream 7 after the actress shared a pro-Palestinian statements on social media. That some people believe crossed the line into anti-Semitic territory. That's the other big factor too. If you are going to criticize the Jewish state or Judaism in general, and you're an actor, that's gonna be tough to do. You're obviously gonna lose your job, which is what she did. This is what she said. It's no longer up there. It says Gaza is currently being treated like a concentration camp. Yeah, you can't use words like that. It's like when you go around calling people like Yahtzees and stuff like that. You there's a way bigger meaning for that term, and if you just keep using that term willy-nilly, like, you're going to diminish it. And the people that did live through that stuff, the people that did understand the full gravity of those situations are going to laugh at you. And I don't know why that's worth banning, but that's worth them noting. It's just like, use your words, use them carefully though, because you can't just go around calling everything concentration or a Yahtzee. It loses its meaning. Which earlier reported Amber's exit from Scream 7. Cornering everyone together with nowhere to go, no electricity, no water. Okay, yeah, now she's talking about Palestine. Obviously, there's a lot going on there that I don't understand. I don't expect you to understand or me to understand. We're talking about something that goes back as far as Isaac Ishmael. And it's kind of petty for anybody to be talking about it like, oh, we know exactly what's going on. It's like, first of all, you've only gone back a couple months. We're talking about a war that's been raging on for hundreds, thousands of years. Stop. Just stop. And this is why I haven't even really got into it. The whole Israel-Palestine. I pushed it off as long as I could. It's bleeding into entertainment, as you can see. Like, it's bleeding into everywhere. Eventually, we will get to a point where all we will be talking about would be what's going on there. Because if a W3 were to pop off, obviously it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to matter except that, because people will die. And tyranny is a crazy thing if you go back. I believe in peace, but even a character like a Joker or something, like, some people don't want peace. Some people want chaos. Some people want to watch the world burn. And it's a scary thought. Hopefully these people aren't in power, and hopefully they can be talked down. But it's going to be a very interesting year next year, and it's going to be a very interesting time because we'll be living in a time of war. What does that mean for tax dollars? What does that mean for actually soldiers going in? I don't know. We're going to have to cross that bridge together when we get there, guys. But it's going to be interesting. So Spyglass stance is unequivocally clear. We have zero tolerance for anti-Semitic comments, basically. And it talks about the October 7th attack. And this is the real problem when it comes to being a Palestinian and talking about, like, yes, there are a lot of very good Palestinian people. Just saying you're pro-Palestine isn't necessarily a bad phrase. But when you have organizations like Hamas or other ones that support the Palestinian views and say we're Palestine, and you have people like Rashida Tlaib, she was censured in Congress. It's like, why was a House representative censored? Like, why was her First Amendment taken away? Well, she stood with Palestine. Okay, that's fine. But I think it's because she didn't condemn Hamas. And to be fair, if she was a Palestinian, she represents as a big minority in Michigan, where it's a bunch of Palestinians, and they all congregate and they all live together there, and they have their own community there, and their representative is Rashida. So it makes sense that, yeah, their representative would be Palestinian if the majority of them are Palestinian. But she made to be honest, I don't really understand why they censored her. I think they just did it out of spite, out of hate, out of red versus blue, out of you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. I'm not really too sure. But it's scary world we live in, just because so you're saying because she wouldn't denounce a terrorist organization, now she has to be silenced on the floor. What about all those Americans she's representing? Does that mean their values don't matter? Does that mean their opinions don't matter? It's a very steady slope when you start banning elected officials like that just for words. And it's not like I seriously. Oh, I think I remember what it was. She was talking about, it had to do, she was posting fake news or something like that. It was about the hospital stuff, which, by the way, everybody was posting fake about that. Everybody got it wrong. If that was a crazy story about the hospital in Israel or Palestine, yeah, it was in Gaza or something. Yeah, it was wild. It was very wild. I'm not going to get into that, but obviously the deadly attack in October 7th, very bad. Not going to get into it. I was just going to talk about her because to segue into my next talking point, the next talking point was, this was the article that I wanted to talk about last week because it was trending. And it kind of relates to what's going on in this day and age to some extent. And it was, again, you get these people on TikTok. They're young. They just need to do a little bit more research before. It's hard to do, too, when you have an instant platform where you can just put out whatever you want instantaneously. Like, it says TikTok is prohibited videos promoting bin Laden's letter to America. Obviously, I'm old enough to remember before the news even told me about it. Like, I grew up in an era where it happened. These kids growing up where they're learning what happened in school. It's kind of like me learning about Vietnam in school. Did I learn the right thing? No. I did my own research and I realized the atrocities that happened during Vietnam and why we shouldn't even have been there. So you get these TikTokers, they're just going to read a letter, and they're like, oh, Bin Laden was right. It's like, that's a bit ridiculous. First of all, he is a terrorist. So we're talking about a madman here. But then just to blindly be like, yeah, it totally makes sense now. It's like, you guys are crazy, dude. But this is where I also don't understand. It says, November 16, TikTok will prohibit content that promotes Osama bin Laden's O2 letter detailing the former al-Qaeda leader's justification for attacks against Americans. So you're prohibiting it. Okay. Are people allowed to share it or not? It looks like they are. They're probably just going to shadow ban them. They're not going to really let it go trending. Discussions of the 20-year-old letter have spread to the platform this week. It's like they're just discovering it. It's like kids these days, I swear. Pick up a book, dude. Like, actually use the internet for something other than porn. Like, there's so much information out there, and you're going to use TikTok as your source. Like, get the like, these kids are crazy. Like, yeah, by the way, I don't recommend using social media for your news source. And if you do, definitely search it in other platforms or other news sources. Because what the fuck? It says the letter, which was written after Al Qaeda's attack on the U.S. that killed, people. All right. It says bin Laden was killed. So that's pretty much all it says about it, except that some U.S. lawmakers have called for the ban of Chinese-owned app because of this stuff. That's like, there's way bigger things to be focusing on than that. But I wanted to get to on Wednesday. So they got this letter from The Guardian. Yeah, go figure. Kids using The Guardian as their news source. Again, that's good if you have them as your news source or whatever, but definitely cross-reference that with other news sources because you're getting one opinion. You're going to get stuck in that echo chamber. You don't want to do that. You want to have a broad opinion, which is why I don't think this is a good idea to ban stuff like this. Like, yeah, it's a terrible letter. Yeah, he was a terrible person, but people have the right to read it. People have the right to make up their own mind. And if they want to blindly follow a fucking crazy man, they're allowed to do that too. I mean, if not, we would make cults illegal, which I don't think they are. I mean, the good old Davidians coming in to save the day, right? It was a joke, guys. Calm down. So TikTok said previously a recommendation algorithm does not push certain content to users, and that the company has removed hundreds of thousands of videos. Good God. Violating the policies. See, it's saying it's misinformation is promoting violence. Okay, I can see that. But it's also history. It's also, again, whether you want to believe it or not, bin Laden is going to be embedded in the world's history. He changed the world. And did he do that, or did the government do that? Was this a pretext for war? I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. And, like, we want to talk about conspiracy theories. We can talk about conspiracy theories, but right now we're just talking about a letter a leader wrote that he thought was justification for what he did. But yeah, it says Guardian removed the full text of the bin Laden's letter, which was published in 2002. The news outlet said on its website that the letter was being shared on social media without full context. So it doesn't really, it's up to you to get the full context. If you want to read half an article and blindly follow it, you're stupid. But it's not anybody else's fault except you're stupid. And when people do it, people should call them out and be like, hey, you should probably do more information on that because you don't know what you're talking about and you're only like 15. So, yeah, I don't know why people are taking it so serious. Crazy that The Guardian took it down because they published it in 2002 and now they think, oh, this is just too bad. We can't have this anymore. It's very, very weird. It says on The Guardian's page, if you try to go find the document, says this page previously displayed a document containing in translation the full text of Osama bin Laden's letter to the American people, which was reported and observed Sunday 24th November 2002. The document, which was published here on the same day, has been removed on the 15th of November 2023. Well, you had a good run. What was that, 21 years? Almost 21 years? Nice. Says the transcript published on our website has been widely shared on social media without full context. Again, I think that's a bullshit reason, but that's what they want to say. That's what they want to say. It reminds me of, obviously I wasn't alive for this, but I remember reading about this. There was also another famous document that was banned, Mein Kampf. If you know what that is, you know what that is. Obviously, it was in more ramblings of a madman. But I found an article from 2016. Now, Mein Kampf was trending pretty hard in 2016. Why was it trending? Well, they said, see, what happened was copyright laws had run out. It said the copyright had been in hands of the Bavarian government. So after the death of Hitler, for some reason the Bavarian government had the rights to his book, probably because they published it or something, I don't know. But the copyright lasted for 70 years. Thus, in 2015 or 2016, it was over, and people were upset because they started printing that book again. It's like, should we ban that book? I mean, it's just a book. It's just the ramblings of a madman. Like, why can't he be published? The reasoning for allowing it to happen, they said, but yeah, basically this book was banned in Germany. But what they said was, if they didn't allow it to be published, that they thought it would create people idolizing this book. It's just like, you know how someone says, don't do that, don't push that, don't touch this. Like, human nature is to do the opposite of what you said. So the fact that people are like, we need to ban this book, they thought more people would get interested in it that way, so instead of just releasing it and being like, this is a book that you want to read it, but it's a crazy person. It's crazy to think. So this book can be like, so if I were to quote lines from this book and put it on TikTok, are they going to be like, well, that's out of context, dude? It's like, well, it's ramblings of a madman. I'm sure it's all going to be out of context, so it's going to be weird. But again, so it became published in 2016 again. And yeah, Germany was freaking out about it. It was trending all over the news in 2016, apparently. Before I even read news like that. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. But obviously anti-Semitism, they say, is on the rise. And stuff like this and stuff like what's going on TikTok. Obviously, take your news a little bit more serious. Don't just blindly follow stuff, obviously. I mean, obviously I'm telling this to more children than I am to adults. We're all adults here, or most of us are. We realize the propaganda machine. We realize the mockingbird machine. We realize that you can't just blindly follow whatever news article, and you can't just watch one news company. You need to diversify, because you need other opinions. And I think independent media is way more important than these mainstream media companies. They just, again, they're mockingbirds, and it's disgusting. Which, going back to Vietnam, obviously, like, not gonna get down that rabbit hole. Thought there was something else I wanted to say. So, feel bad for Melissa. I mean, we're done. I don't know. I don't think she meant any harm by it. I think she was just angry, and she was sharing stuff she probably shouldn't have. And the same with Rashida. I think that's the problem when you bring religion into stuff. These women, these people, they get so absorbed with their religion, they're going to take it very personally. And the problem is, when you're absorbed in religion like that, like, you're right and everybody else is wrong. And the understanding is we need to find more middle grounds, obviously, which is why we led to where we at today. Again, I'm still going to promote peace. No matter what goes on, how it goes down, we're going to have to all come to work together if we want to stop what's happening. Is it going to stop? I don't know. Like I said, we're talking about a war that's been going on forever, dude. The fact that I'm even talking about it seems just catty. It's not very... As long as it's productive, though. If we can all understand that we need to talk about it respectfully and understandably, and not just blindly follow a side, and understand that if we believe in humanity, we believe in peace, we believe in people, that hopefully change will happen in the right way. But last thing I want to talk about is Tom McDonald. Yeah, he has a new song out. He's a rapper, but he recently put out just an acoustic song, and it was very anti-war, and it's not something you're going to see on the mainstream media, and you probably never even heard of him sometimes, but some of you people out there. But I highly recommend it. It's a good song. It's talking about what's going on in the world, man, and how ultimately it's him asking, where's Superman? We need Superman to save us, but then ultimately realizing Superman's not coming. He's not going to save us, guys. He's not a real person. And one of the lines from it, there's a lot of deep lines in it, but it's just like one of the verses was, I hope you had dreams come true. I hope they see in their crosshairs what I see in you. And I hope and I pray, because that's all I can do. But obviously the chorus, I don't understand who is good or bad. They don't care as long as you have oil sands. And then obviously asking for Superman's help. But no, Superman's not coming. And this war is probably going to get a lot worse. Especially, you guys remember Ukraine? Remember fucking Ukraine? Yeah. I don't think anybody remembers Ukraine or cares about Ukraine at this point. Because now, I mean, eventually, if it is a W3, Ukraine's going to have to pick a side anyway. It is what it is. I feel bad for all the innocent people just stuck in that shit. But I'm glad to be in America. Glad to have a day off. Glad to be able to just be free on this beautiful Wednesday right before Thanksgiving. And, hopefully I'll do some shopping today. Not overthink the news. But obviously there's some good stuff out here, guys. I forget there was one line, too, I wanted to say. Ultimately, to wrap it up, it's just, if you do not learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. These are just facts. Like, I forget who said it. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to put it up there. But sharing, this is news. This is history. Like the fact that you don't want to share an article about a very famous person in history or a book about a very famous person in history. Like, you got to give people a chance to make up their own mind, dude. You can't just be like, you can't read this because it's bad. It's like, no, they're literally allowed to read it because it is bad. Now, it gets a lot different when you talk about tax dollars and putting them in schools and stuff like that. That's when lines start getting crossed and whatnot. But if I'm a free person going on the free internet to look at something or anything, I should be allowed to do that. But Melissa, yeah, she got kicked out of the WAG too, or SAG or whatever. Yeah, she's not having too good of a time. The same with Rashida. I wonder what's going to happen with her, because I know, yeah, she definitely got censored, which is pretty wild to think about for just that. But obviously, everybody's in a very heightened state, especially when it comes to what's going on over there. And again, I hope we all find peace. I hope they all choose love. But even if you go back to a tyrant, all the way back in the Exodus of Pharaoh, you had two brothers come up to him and say, hey man, you need to let these people go. You're a tyrant. And he said, never. And then a lot of stuff happened. Maybe we'll get into that story another time. But right now, I don't think it really matters. Right now, what's going on right now is a bigger deal. But I'm going to try and enjoy life. I'm going to go out, maybe buy a gun. I don't know. I definitely want to go look at some. And obviously look for presents and stuff like that. But promote peace, guys. Promote love. Go out there, enjoy time with your family. Be happy. And if you're feeling down, you're feeling you need love, hit me up. I'll send you some love. Whatever, buddy. Just take it easy, guys. Tomorrow I'm going to try and do an entertainment episode because there's a lot of good entertainments coming out. But I hope you guys are safe. Hope you guys are happy. I will talk to you later. You guys be safe out there. Bye.